Alright, so hello and welcome back to the Pearl Mindset. Today we're going to be talking about how to overcome your fears. All of these tips are coming from someone who used to have severe social anxiety, to the extent that I used to be so scared and paranoid of ordering from restaurants and cafeterias. And I used to actually starve myself instead of hypothetically embarrass myself in front of people. So yeah, and these are all stuff that I wish my younger self knew. So a bit of a story time, So I remember my first day on campus, I basically had my really heavy backpack on and I really wanted to go and just sit down at the library. But I was so scared of asking for directions for where the library is. So instead of swallowing my fear and being a big girl, I actually ended up walking around the campus for 2 to 3 hours without sitting down, actually, without even drinking water or anything. I just continually walked around, silently praying that God would just kind of lead me to the library. It's so crazy because like right now, whenever I go out with friends and family, I'm usually the one who makes all the orders. Whenever I'm with new people, I'm usually the one who initiates conversation. So yeah, it's crazy how things can change. Let's begin. Okay. So first off, honestly, for any concept that I make a video on, I just really like to define what that thing is. So that's what we're going to do here. So basically, fear is defined as emotional response to a perceived threat or danger. Okay? And most importantly here, I want to emphasize on the word perceived. And perceived basically just means kind of okay, it could be correct, there could be danger. Or on the other hand, it could be fake. It could be incorrect. There might not be danger. When you realize that fear doesn't necessarily equal danger, it really changes your thought process. It really changes how you view the world. So this is what we're going to be discussing today in the video. We're going to be talking about these 7 steady pearls. You see it? Pearls? Okay. So, and throughout this whole video, we're going to be building up on 2 concepts. The first concept is understanding the cause or the root of your fears. And the second concept is exposure to overcome fears. And honestly, basically, throughout this whole video, we're just going to be building on these 2 concepts. And honestly, if you understand these 2 concepts and if you really embody these 2, you'll be able to get over any fear you have. First off, defining your fear. And this is basically really important. Why? Because when you have no definition of what you're scared of, you have no dimension for what this fear is, okay? And when you don't have any dimensions for something, it's just going to blow out of proportion. And this used to happen to me a lot. I'd just be scared, but I wouldn't understand what I'm scared of. So a really good thing is, you should ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? What's the worst thing that could happen, and how realistic is this fear? And honestly, this really applies to anything. For example, presenting. I used to be so scared of presenting, but I used to ask myself these 3 questions and figure it out. And this used to calm me down. Honestly, the fear was still there, but it used to decrease. And this could also apply to talking to people. It could also apply to just sitting down and being alone. That's actually one of my fears. It used to be one of my fears. I used to be so scared of just being alone all the time. But little by little, after understanding what it is that I'm exactly afraid of, I was able to overcome that too. And next, pearl. Familiarity is the antidote. The more familiar you are with something, the less scared you're going to be of that thing. Okay? And a really important thing is that when you have a fear, this is how your mind this is the thought process or what your mind says to you. It says, I don't know this, so I'm just gonna assume it's dangerous. Bro, with that logic, that means everything's gonna be scary. Everything out there is dangerous, but that's not true. Honestly, fear, this is from my personal experience. Because of my fear, because I was so scared to do things, I missed out on so many things, and it led to having multiple regrets about things. There's so many things that I regret not doing because of my fear. But it's okay, we grow, we learn, and greater opportunities come. Now, a good way to understand the concept of familiarity as the antidote is the concept of habituation. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in biology, they used to teach us about putting a snail on a a little dish. And then what we basically do is that we keep on tapping the dish. And in the beginning, the snail will react really strongly to the stimulus, which is us tapping it. But then after a bit, if we just, continue with the same intensity and the same speed, the snail will slowly start to like adapt kind of to the stimulus, and it no longer will fear it. Snail's nervous system learns that. This keeps happening and nothing bad follows, so it's safe. And eventually at one point, the snail's body will barely react to the stimulus at all. And this is because it learned that this like wobbling is actually non-threatening. Okay? And this is a really important like lesson for all of us. The more we expose ourselves to this scary thing, the more we put ourselves out there, the less threatening, the less scary it will be. The bottom line, repeated exposure to a harmless stimulus leads to a decreased response. And that's why you really have to like just put yourself out there. Just take the risk. Just take that leap of faith, And just put yourself out there. I swear it's not that big of a deal. You're not gonna regret like taking the first step. Trust. So a third point, watch videos online. And I'm dead serious, this actually really helps. And I remember back in like, I think third year of college, I basically really wanted to I was a loner. I had 0 friends. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna change this. I have to change this. So what I did, I remember the summer before my third year of college, I basically kept on just watching videos online and about like how to make friends, how to start conversations, how to talk to people, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, a lot of these tips, I didn't really use them, but it was so weird because it felt like these subliminal messages kind of. And it really like stuck in my head, and suddenly, which was so crazy, I started having friends in third year of college. So again, this could really apply to anything. You can like watch people ordering food, public speaking, traveling alone, social interactions. Fourth point, surround yourself and like learn from others. And this is a really interesting thing because you know how they say like if you want to improve your grades, you should like surround yourself or like get to know like the top people, like the top 1% in the class, and like pick up like their habits and stuff. Basically the same thing applies here. So if you surround yourself with people who don't actually have fear, you're going to pick that up little by little. And this actually happened to me. It was an absolute coincidence, but my friends back in third year of college, they used to be actually like really outgoing, just very spontaneous. Whatever comes in their mind, they just say it to anyone and everyone. So yeah, and I used to be, it's so crazy because like whatever they used to do, I used to get so embarrassed and like I used to never like be part of it. I kind of just like, watch them from like the sidelines. But little by little, I started to pick up like their habits, and I started doing the same thing. Like now I just sometimes like very spontaneously think something and say it without thinking. Like something pops into my head and I just say it, period, without a second thought. Surround yourself with people who don't have that fear, and trust you will pick up their habits to overcome that fear. Next off, count to 10, then do it. So you know how people say count to 10, then speak? Well, I don't know how the hell I came up with this. I don't even think I read this anywhere, but basically I started like implementing this one thing where like if I was scared of something, I'd count mentally like till 10 and then I'll force myself to do it. Count to 10 and then do. So study pearl number 6 is take little steps. And you know how people say practice makes perfect? Well, honestly, it's kind of accurate. Okay. And there was like this really nice quote that I saw on Pinterest while scrolling one day. And what it said was that you're never going to learn how to swim by reading about it. And you have to take that first step of a leap of faith, and you have to like get yourself like immersed in the water to learn how to like swim. And likewise, you're never going to learn how to overcome your fear by just reading about it. You really have to just, put in a bit of effort, have a bit of courage, take that first step. It's gonna be okay. I promise it's gonna be okay. So last but not least, and honestly, this is the hardest like study pearl here, and that's build your confidence. And basically, if you're confident, not a single thing out there is impossible for you. And it took me so long to crack this code and figure this out. Confidence really is the key, because when you're confident, you really don't care about like what people think, period. You really don't care. And a lot of fears like stem from like people's judgment, like the fear of being judged. But once you're confident and you know yourself and you're like proud of yourself and you're comfortable in your skin, it really doesn't matter what others think. Okay? And just to conclude, I just want to remind everyone that you have the power to either be your worst enemy or your biggest ally. And it's really just in your hand. You can either be your biggest supporter or your biggest hater, and the choice is yours. It's not impossible to change, and many others out there did it. It's not impossible. So what is it that's stopping you from doing it too? You have to like really sit down and ask yourself, really sit down and analyze like why is it that things aren't working out for you. Last but not least, you have the power to change. You have the power to make that dream of yours a reality. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If it was useful, I'd really appreciate it if you can, subscribe, like. If you don't like it, honestly, I'd love it if I can hear your thoughts, your suggestions down in the comments. And yeah, have a great day. Thank you so much.